Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have a pretty big trade going on right now when it comes to the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox general ecosystem as a whole. Now, as you guys probably have heard about the big news, Xbox has been bringing games to PlayStation. They've done very well, and so far have actually been kind of taking over the entire PlayStation store. But as well, whenever there are like these back alley trades going on, every now and then PlayStation might be offering and dangling something in front of them when it comes to them trying to get something special off of releasing games on every single platform. So right now, PlayStation does seem to be releasing something really cool on Xbox, and it does kind of seem like a bygones be bygones are happening, where it's you scratch my back, I scratch yours, you go and, I guess, press A on my controller, I'll press X on yours. I was trying to get a gaming metaphor for that. It was kind of hard to go get. And anyway, basically, PlayStation is bringing brand new PlayStation exclusive games to Xbox, and this is going to be some kind of fun stuff to talk about. So make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications. I've got that Twitter and Twitch room down below. I'll actually probably be checking out Fallout tonight on Twitch if you guys are bored, mainly because I've been watching the show, and this kind of ties into the subject too as well, where right now the flavor of the month can always be, well, floating around depending on which console you're on. Now, that was kind of a weird intro. I feel like my words weren't the best, but basically, PlayStation, to get in the video, is now bringing one of their exclusive games to Xbox. Now, Xbox has brought a lot of their various games, Sea of Thieves, Grounded, etc., to the PlayStation console. So it seems kind of overdue that it happens for PlayStation. So this one big game over here is none other than Kena Bridge of Spirits. Now, there's a lot to ramble on into and kind of a lot of my opinion. So, as you guys probably know, these have not been the biggest games out there. Like, first and foremost, I don't want someone to think like, oh my god, this is some crazy, like, God of War coming to Xbox, which would be huge, and I'd probably scream, or the exact, like, say, Halo coming to PlayStation. Now, there has been rumors on that, people have been discussing that, but at the end of the day, you kind of have to test the waters. Like, you don't want to start off with this big trade-off and be like, hey, we'll give you God of War. Okay, we get Halo, and then, agree on that. It's more of a, hey, we'll give you, like, Grounded or Hi-Fi Rush, which are good games, unique games, will probably drive sales, and they're, properly well-made games, fan-received games. Well, and we'll be like, hey, we'll give you Kena, which has been a little bit on the older, most people are not buying it as often as we'd expect, and it's like, okay, we'll give you some mid-tier games, and they kind of go on Hi-Fi from there. And that's, I think, what's happening right now, because the news is that Kena Bridge of Spirits, and if you guys have missed this game, I can show you guys a bit more of it, has basically now been officially listed for Xbox ratings. Now, what does this mean? It basically means that this most likely will be coming to Xbox. So if you guys have missed this game before, I'm going to go and show you guys a bit of gameplay for it. Kena was like a very unique, cute game from PlayStation. It was more of an indie game. But it had like a lot of reception. So a good example here is the trailer. I'll play it up in the background, but just gonna give you guys, like, it wasn't like the smallest game ever. It had 3 million views. This came over here from the State of Play. And this game was overall not the best game out there, but it was a fun, nifty, and unique game. This was basically like, imagine it was indie trying to make a brand new IP with really cool graphics. It was kind of like Dark Souls, and I'm sure if you guys are PlayStation people, you guys may have heard of it or played it when it came out originally. This was technically a PlayStation game. A pure PlayStation game. Was also released on PC, but like, it's kind of like Helldivers. It's like for the PlayStation ecosystem and platform. The game itself was a cute game. Like, this doesn't look like the most insane graphics, don't get me wrong, but the animations and like the little cutscenes and like these trailers were a good looking game. Like, it was a well presented, nice looking game. But once again, it's not the biggest game. It's not God of War, it's not Horizon, it's not Spider-Man, but it's something. And this is where the trade deal kind of happens, because this game, as I've mentioned, was now officially rated for Xbox. So what does it mean if it's officially rated? Basically means that a official company had to go through the rating, test out the game, and also somewhat like legally approve that the game is set by the ESRB ratings, which means that, number one, people from PlayStation had to submit it, had to approve it, and then basically a legal actual company out there also had to, like, spend the manpower. Like, there's a reason why they're doing it. Like, the whole reason why is that it's coming, most likely, based on these leaks and based on the legality stuff. There hasn't been like a press announcement or a talk on it, but once again, if it was legally approved by these businesses that their whole job is to approve games that are coming out in the future, which usually does have quite a few like quite a long time. Like there's a few months to make sure the game is actually approved, to make sure there's like nothing bad, gore, violence, or whatever, swearing, whatever it might be, to make sure, you know, kids or teenagers or adults know what they're getting themselves into. Like I'm sure you guys have seen GTA 6 is M for a reason, you know, like there's specifically why. Anyway, so it's a longer process. This does take a while. At the end of the day, I'm kind of rambling on this video, but basically what happens over here is that Xbox is getting something here from PlayStation. PlayStation got 4 big games, and so far they're doing well. Like Sea of Thieves is selling phenomenally well. Grounded also is in the top 20 sellers to the PlayStation Store, and it does seem like the Xbox reception is going well. Like people want to play Xbox games. And there has been a little baby bit of teeter-tottering. PlayStation back in the day has given them MLB The Show, so there has been some PlayStation studios on Xbox, and that also was on Xbox Game Pass 2 as well, surprisingly enough. But this is one of the very first ever bigger games we've had a chance to go and see come over to the Xbox side. Now, this kind of might be opening up a bunch of brand new windows. Mainly in regards of PlayStation itself could be trying to go bring more and more games, kind of how Xbox was too. They're kind of thinking maybe this was a background deal, maybe this was a good deal. I'm not super sure, to be fully honest with you guys, because it did kind of seem like there was meant to go and be some sort of, I guess, like discussions and other things out there. I'm going to pull out a Sea of Thieves gameplay in the background for you guys. But when it comes to this, there must have been some back alley deals with like Jim Ryan and Phil Spencer, because it didn't seem like there was too much back and forth besides them being like, hey, we want Call of Duty. No, you're not going to get Call of Duty, etc., etc. I'm almost kind of thinking like, hey, the future of these games, if we make Call of Duty and we make all these other Xbox games, you guys want to try out and see if like Xbox games run well on PlayStation, if PlayStation games sell well on Xbox, or maybe have some Game Pass deals every now and then. It doesn't have to be a one-to-one deal all the time, but it is a nice thing to think about in the back of the day. And so far, that seems like this is right. Like this is the first big PlayStation game I've seen push on Xbox in quite some time. Besides MLB The Show, that was a Game Pass deal. So it also opens up of like, what about other games that may be undersold? So think about games like Ratchet and Clank. That game undersold quite heavily because the PlayStation 5 audience really wasn't there at the time. Like just the install base wasn't there. So why not try to recoup that money and maybe sell it on Xbox? Or maybe think about games like, you know, like Crash. You know, like some of those types of games and IPs are very beloved by the PlayStation studios. So if Xbox technically owns them, which I do believe there was like some like, I think like mitigation off of them at some point, but just using that as an example, if they already are established and well established, might as well keep on selling them. Or how we talked about yesterday, where Fallout has been doing very well, Minecraft as well, and although they don't have, let's say, Starfield, but they do technically go and have these games still available, and they've been selling well, and PlayStation has the big install base, so why not just go keep it? At the end of the day, like there's basically no real reason not to. So it does kind of seem like this is one of the bigger things if it does come into fruition. Now, I'm not really sure what other mid-tier PlayStation games are out there. Funny enough, I can actually probably see Horizon coming quicker than, say, Spider-Man, mainly because it is a uniquer IP, or maybe something like Last of Us, because in theory, you're also getting more people watching the show, or multiple iterations of it. You sell The Last of Us Remastered, people might buy the second one on PlayStation, might buy a console on PlayStation to play it on PlayStation, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's cool, because this kind of seems like this is the start of the console wars ending. Question mark? Like, I'm not really sure exactly if that's happening or not, but it does seem at least like their big walls are toning down. Like, if PlayStation games run up on Xbox, which if it happens with Kina, and it seems like it, that's huge. And if Xbox games are coming to PlayStation by confirmation for Sea of Thieves, Grounded, etc., although these are once again not the biggest games out there, this is a big change up and big news, in my honest opinion. I think this is insane when it comes to gaming as a whole. Now, we still need a little bit more about the Switch, because I'm not really sure how that's going to play into things right now, because the hardware is not the best, but it's still intriguing to see, because I can't wait to play more games. I like seeing the fact that this is opening up. As a PC guy, too, it brings more stuff to PC, which makes things in my life a little bit easier, because it basically means I get to go and play games without having to have a console in the future if we need to, and at the same time, it probably takes the pressure off of Xbox, because if they have all these games and spending all this money developing stuff, and then PlayStation is just the supplier, the seller, like they're both kind of making money. Like you have 100 million PlayStation 6s, you have 10 million Xboxes, but Xbox is making good money from Call of Duty, Overwatch, like World of Warcraft, all these other various games, microtransactions and DLCs, and the next like Fallout game, etc., then why not? You know, like if everyone's winning, this seems like a good vibe. So it almost kind of seems like it's the end of the console wars as we know it. So I want to hear your thoughts. A little bit of a ramble video, but I think the rambling is kind of warranted. It's really cool to see that Kena might be coming to Xbox in the near future as well. So if you guys want to swing by some Fallout, check out the Twitch down below. I appreciate you guys all very much for watching. And I hope you guys are having a fantastic, lovely day. And I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Swing by the Twitch if you guys want. Love you guys.